and 58 seconds. That's when it struck, magnitude 4.0, and of course the USGS is continuing to evaluate that information and may up that. Also, they may move the location. Initially with this earthquake, it was showing with an epicenter in the McDonald area in Trumbull County. Now it's showing in Mahoning County with their update on that earlier this afternoon. Now, 2001, we have had 11 earthquakes, counting this one on March 17th. That was the first one that we had this year, and we actually had two in the same day occurring within the same hour, 2.1, and then what was thought to be an aftershock, but an aftershock actually cannot be as strong as the earthquake itself. The second one was a 2.6 that day. August 22nd, 2.2, 2.4 on August 25th, and on September 2nd, we also had a 2.2. Most of them have been within 2. Now, this one of the strongest earthquakes the Valley has seen in nearly 13 years. The last one that broke the 4.0 magnitude was in 1998. That was called the Pymatuning quake in northern Trumbull and northwestern Mercer County. It's where that was epicentered on September 25th. It was a 4.5, and the largest ever to hit the Valley in northeast Ohio. That was a 4.8 back in 1986. Now, today's earthquake at a 4.0, it was felt in Canada, New York, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and Michigan, according to reports from the USGS, and it had a depth of 3.1, so it was a relatively shallow earthquake. So we'll continue to monitor these reports, and if anything changes in the details, we'll bring that to you as well. Dan?
All right, thanks a lot, Ryan. And just after 3 o'clock, our phones are blowing up in the newsroom. People calling from all over the entire viewing area to report that they felt an earthquake. And just a few blocks from the epicenter, though, some of the most moderate damage being reported. We're going to go right out to Natalie Jovanovich, who's joining us live in Youngstown. Natalie, where exactly are you right now?
Well, Dan, this is what's pretty interesting. We just found out in about the past half hour that the epicenter was moved. Like Ryan mentioned, it was in McDonald. They just reported it is less than 1/10 of a mile from that well site that the ODNR shut down yesterday. So within 24 hours, we had an earthquake of a 4.0 magnitude. Like you said, about 3 o'clock. We do have some video of some damage we found around the where I felt it in Poland. I talked to a family in Girard. They said pictures fell off the walls, the boys were knocked off the couch. So everywhere anybody was, they all had a different reaction, and nobody can really stop talking about it. As Ryan also mentioned, this is one of many earthquakes that have taken place this year. Today marks the 11th one. There were 10 before that this year, seismic events, you can call them, earthquakes. All of those within 2 miles of that same injection site. Again, we're in the general vicinity, not on the site, but the epicenter was just determined, again, to be within 1/10 of a mile of where that site was that was shut down yesterday. Now, there isn't conclusive evidence to determine if those well sites are what's causing the earthquakes. They said they shut it down merely for safety reasons and as a precautionary measure. Now, all the earthquakes that happened this year were at a 2.7 or lower magnitude. This is the first one to be a 4.0 and to be significantly higher than all of those other ones. 4.0 and up. 4.0 is usually when there is surface damage. Like we said, there's chimneys down, people were knocked off whatever they were sitting on, pictures fell off the wall. So there was damage around the area, but with these kinds of earthquakes that are above 4.0, 40 times more energy is released than those 2.7 ones. So if you felt the ones that have happened over the past year, you probably weren't sure if it was an earthquake today. People were definitely sure it was an earthquake. Like Ryan said, we are continuing to follow this story. We'll have more tonight at 10 and 11. For now, reporting live in Youngstown, I'm Natalie Jovanovich, 27 First News.
Natalie, and of course, as she just mentioned, yesterday the Ohio Department of Natural Resources had halted operations out at the DNL Energy brine injection well in Youngstown. Officials, though, with ODNR still have no conclusive evidence to link the seismic activity to that well site. However, ODNR says their top priority is the health and safety of the public and protection of Ohio's natural resources. And after today's magnitude 4.0 earthquake, State Representative Bob Hagan is now calling for a moratorium on all drilling in Ohio.
I'm asking now that the governor impose a moratorium. A 4.0 on the Richter scale earthquake is pretty serious, and this is not a laughing matter. We have to start thinking about the bottom line. Our bottom line should not be dollars and cents. It should be making sense, and it should be safety.
Now, Hagan did make it clear that he does want to see jobs here, but wants to be certain that the drilling is done safely. State Representative Sean O'Brien says he, too, is adding his name to the people calling for the moratorium. In Girard, Tom and Marie Boros were working in their shops when the jolt hit. Both of them knew immediately what it was, having felt all the previous quakes. Now, they did a quick damage assessment and noticed new cracks in their walls, but the Boros say they have had enough.
Pro-business, but I don't know about this. I'm a little concerned. This has been several times now.
Boros also sits on the Girard Board of Health and says he's been fielding concerned calls from Girard residents since these earthquakes started. Newly sworn-in Judge Jeff Adler was putting together his office at Girard Municipal Court when the earthquake hit. Like most others who felt the shaking, he and his family knew immediately what it was.
It felt like a bomb went off. The building shook, and we just hit the ground. And immediately I said, "That's an earthquake." And we got up and we ran downstairs to the police department.
Of course, please stay with 27 First News, Wkbn.com, and MyValleyWeather.com throughout the evening for updates on this afternoon's earthquake. We'll have the very latest for you tonight at 11 o'clock. Also topping local news tonight, a community mourns the loss of